Here is the working drawing for the candle holder. I'll put this in the download. I've got a section here. You can see that I've turned this one. This is the starting piece. What I did when I started off was I thought I would have it in a circle like this. So I got my compass and I drew various curves and I fitted these leaves until I got what I thought was quite a nice sort of spiraling effect. Now I've turned it, but of course you could just have it square with four pieces, four leaves, or you could have it triangular. If you don't have a lathe, you know, there's lots of ways you can do it just flat. So looking at the turning for the moment here, this is a candle holder, and it's basically a disc you can get from wood turners and other supplies. Again, I'll put notes down in the download. This will fit on here. There's a little center screw that will go straight into the wood here, and then the actual plate goes onto this screw, and then the candle sits on a little point here. So I've turned it and I've divided it into 5. I thought 5 was a good number, quite an uneven number. It gave me quite a nice tight look, but of course if you made it a bit bigger you could angle these out a little bit and have a bigger candle stand. So there you go, there's a little point at the top, little ledge at the top for the candle holder, and something at the end to finish it, and a plain face down here where I've stuck on the drawings with this photo mount adhesive just as I did before. So that's my starting piece of wood. This is a router mat, something which woodworkers use to put underneath boards to hold, and you can see it's like an underlay and grips the wood pretty well, as long as it's being pressed down, which of course we are when we're putting our carving tools on it. And the nice thing about this mat is I can just turn it around like this to work on the various parts. Now because it's separate, 5 individual pieces and not in a row, it's probably easier just to work on one leaf at a time. So just as before, I will start off with one of my carving tools, and I'll pick a gouge that matches, and this time I'm at right angles to this surface here. So I'm going to push that in here. This is going to need a mallet because it's a little bit harder wood. Swing it round. So there's my stab cut, and then pushing round with my my angle cut. Now because the wood is going round, where I am now is in, I don't know if you can see this, but here's the wood fibres, so I'm actually in the end grain. So this does involve making a very careful, accurate cut because you're going into the fibres. So I'll pick one tool like that, just as before, try and make that neat and tidy. Look at another cut, here's another one will fit, I'll push that one in there. Take my angle cut around like this, and if it doesn't come out, back to the first cut and use the corner. Make sure that's nice and neat. Get that little bit out there. Oh, actually it's the paper. So once I've done that, I can go around to the different ones here. Then I'll swap my carving tool to another one and do the same, and I'll join them together just as I did before. Or I can choose to just do one leaf at a time, work that through. That's up to me. I think you can see, I mean this paper's coming off very readily, I think you can see that this mat actually gives a little bit when I press on it. But when I'm carving, that's not a bother to me, but it probably looks more when it's being filmed, but the mat is holding up really well. So make sure that goes around here. And this little ring at the edge, that doesn't affect anything because I'm coming straight down here, so I'm clearing this ring here. I'll pick this one up here. I can't see what I'm doing, so I'll put my first cut in there, and then my second cut is picking this line up, coming around here. I've been round and set in all the edges, and the next step is to just use the skew chisel, create these corners just as before. The next step is to put the V groove on either side of this centre vein. One of the problems we have is this, coming in like here, we're a bit low, it's difficult to get our handle down. So we might have to do something about that when we come to the flutes. But I think, so for this case, I think it's best to come from the top, like so, and down. So coming just to one side, swooping down, and then picking up that one here, joining together so that the two come together up the top like that. So I'll go around and do all those. And then if I want to, I can go back with this tool, this flat gouge, and just dress that bottom edge, make that sharper, like so, two angle cuts pushing down, pulling out a little shaving from the middle. So I would do that, and then I will we can move on to the actual leaves themselves. The flutes we'll do in exactly the same way as before. Actually, before I start, I should draw in these lines where I think these centre. They ignore my bits here. I'm not sure they're quite accurate, but there's something like this. So make sure you know where those are going. So the centre of the ridge is going up to the point, and then you can just carry on as you did before. Make it a little bit deeper here at the edge of the leaf, and then not too deep. At the moment I'm okay, I'm going downhill, so that's a nice easy cut. So picking up from here. So what I'm interested in is this line in between, getting that ridge heading. So I could, I guess, leave these without putting in the V tool, which I'm going to do next. I could just leave these as ridges, but I've decided not to. So carrying on working my way around, and sometimes I'm going to hit the grain going in the wrong direction, in which case, as before, I need to come this way. And the best way to do this is to just hang off the edge of the bench like this. You can do that with this mat. I'm not needing it at the moment, but if I do, that's what I will. I'll do this coming around here. I'm not too worried about leaving a little piece of paper, but of course you won't see that when we remove the paper, and that's really just the top of the wood that I haven't removed. Here. See what happens over here. Well, this wood is very nice. It's a bit of lime wood. See what I'm doing here? I'm making a little rocking cut like this. It's rocking through the cut, but it is going against the grain just there. So let me just finish this. So I'm just rocking that in there like that, and then I'm going to come over this side, dropping down here, and come the opposite direction to clean that bit up. That's the carving finished. So as you can see, most of the paper's come off, but some is fairly stuck down, and rather than damage it, I'm going to use this denatured alcohol again, just to dissolve that glue. So I'll put a little bit of that on the paper. The nice thing about the alcohol is it doesn't actually damage the wood at all or discolour it. So I'll put this on and then peel this off. Comes off quite quickly, look. So let's soak a bit more. And then when the paper's off, I can check over just to see, there it comes, just to see if there's any bits that I've missed. I've drilled the hole in the middle here to put in the center screw that's going to hold this plate, and the only other thing I want to do is to add a berry here. I don't think there's room for 3, so I'm just going to put one here, and although I've drawn that here, I'm going to just do it by eye, and I'm going to do it exactly as I did before, which is to press in like this with our number 9 semicircular gouge. Now because we're at an angle, we'll find that we might have to come a bit more down vertically here to cut the fibres, but we keep going round and eventually this pops out. It's a little bit of a tear there. Pull, clap it out. And then with our punch, finish that up. So we'll do that all the way around in all these various parts, and then we're ready to wax the carving. The back of this piece I'm going to cover with a baize or a felt so that it doesn't mark any table or anything. So I'm going to finish off the back like that. And the front here, I'm going to use my usual beeswax mixture and the hairdryer to melt it. I think you can see that's a lovely colour that's come out. So when I've got this all clear of any sort of globs in any of the crevices, I'm going to buff it up with a clean rag, and then I'm going to leave that to go off. It's always tacky to begin with, so keep off it for a little bit, and then I can assemble it with the candle.